Go. All right, is that working? Is that going up? Live. Okay, sweet. Flip. Live. Here we are. My boy's here. Absolutely. What's going on, Sparsh? How are you? Even though we got March Madness on, we had to come back to the charts. I'm addicted. How's your day going? I don't know if you did a bracket this year, but how's your bracket going? Mine, actually, so far, my bracket's doing pretty good. I won't lie. My bracket is doing pretty solid right now. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? Crazy good. How are you? Same, man. Same. Chilling. Another day, another dollar. I was getting a little nervous with Duke, though. Robinhood first. Yeah, we can look at Robinhood. I was getting a little nervous with Duke, though. I mean, I wasn't necessarily that nervous. I knew after the long run they would, obviously outcompete and have better athleticism, but they gave you a scare in the first half for sure. Yo, Nick, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I'm probably not going to stream that long today. I'll be honest. I'll probably stream to maybe like 7:30 just because I want to catch the late games tonight. The games going on right now they're not really doing anything. So I'm like, all right, let's go live. What you think about Netflix? Yeah, we can look at Netflix. I was actually looking at that earlier today. Another day, another dollar, 100%. What's up, Dominic? How are you? But yeah, I was a little scared about Duke in the beginning, and then they rallied back. I mean, Sienna's starters. They played the 5 starting front for the whole entire game. I mean, obviously they were going to get gassed after a while, but everything looked good. So I'm hoping that they play well in the next series, and we'll see kind of what happens. But you want to look at Robinhood first? Yeah, we can look at Robinhood. That sounds good to me. I'm down with that. Down with looking at Robinhood. Sparsh always likes to look at Robinhood. Let me flip the screen. We can do Robinhood, then we can do Netflix. We can do Robinhood, then Netflix for sure. I mean, really nothing's changed with Robinhood. It's kind of just patience right now. There's really no updates on Robinhood. It's kind of consolidating here for its wave 4, and I'm expecting one more leg lower to about $63 on Robinhood, but nothing's changed for me on that. I mean, it may come fast, who knows? But 63 is the minimum or the short-term target, then 300 is the next target on Robinhood. Bitcoin leg 5 is on the way. It appears that way, but we have to wait and see because on the smaller time frame, like on the daily, yeah, we definitely had a drop. This could be the start of the wave 5 targeting. And get this targeting. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta move the lines. Don't extend. Move this over here so it's out of the way. But this could be the initial wave 1, and then we get a. Why is that in blue? Hold on, yellow. This could be the start of wave 1 with the 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure. But as price action develops, we'll be able to track it a little bit closer. But right now, we're kind of just waiting. Until we get to the 50K region in that 1 to the 1.618 down here, we kind of just got to be patient and wait. But it would be nice if it starts faster because then we can get done with this correction and then start the impulses to the upside, which everyone wants to happen. I mean, myself included, right? Like I'm short-term thinking more downside just based on the structure, but I also want price to appreciate too because as price is going down, yeah, I want to load up some more spot position to my overall portfolio and buy at good prices. But if I buy here, obviously I want the price to appreciate next to be in profit. But it's more of just a waiting game. I mean, it sucks, right? But if you look back at the whole correction of Bitcoin, I mean, it's just such a weird correction. It's just taken a really long time. Like this entire ABC movement has taken over a year. Like back here, this was the start of it, December of 2024. And then we started this ABC correction, and it's just taken a really long time. What about XRP? Yeah, we can look at XRP. I mean, XRP looks pretty good too. It's holding up better than, you know, a lot of the other players that have had like huge declines, but on the smaller, on the like, not smaller time frame, on the like this section right here of XRP, we have the initial wave 1 with the ABC lower. You can see it like here on the monthly, right? You have this big impulsive wave followed by this 3-wave movement after. And so far of this move, we've corrected, you know, we're kind of still trying to sit around the 0.618. You know, we kind of tapped in this region right here between the 0.618 and 0.786, which is just, all it is a correction. But when Bitcoin makes its move down, I mean, we just got to be prepared for more downside on altcoins. I'm not looking to dollar cost average anymore on XRP. I got a big spot portfolio around 50 cents in this region right here. So I'm fine with my allocation XRP. I'm looking to allocate some other positions just based on their structure, but $6 is next for XRP. Once we bottom here for Bitcoin, altcoins maybe make one more dip lower, and then boom, we'll get the explosions to the upside and the outperformance, which is what people are waiting for, right? Everyone's waiting for that outperformance on altcoins, which is what we'll get next. I mean, that's just based on structurally what I think. Would you consider charting H-bar? Yeah, we can do H-bar. H-bar, Solana, Netflix? Yeah, we can do Netflix. Actually, yeah, you had recommended Netflix first, so let's jump into Netflix. But what I have on Netflix is we do have a completed wave 5-wave structure for Netflix. We have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. So we have a 5-wave structure. And this does look like an ABC down. And you can see that on Netflix, we basically came right down to the 0.5 fib, like right at the 0.5 fib. I mean, it was just like to a T, and then boom, we got this big explosion off of it. So again, my strategy is geared around entering undervalued positions. And typically what I like to do is buy at the 0.5 and buy at the 0.618 if we get a dip. So from a long-term standpoint, I mean, Netflix coming down to the 0.5 fib after this 5-wave move up, and then this ABC, that's a great discount here for a really good stock from a fundamental standpoint. I'm at $75. I didn't buy any Netflix just because I'm looking to buy some other stuff right now. But, you know, if you're looking to add Netflix, that was a great time to buy right at the 0.5 fib. And my strategy, the way that I like to do it, is you wait for a 5-wave movement, and then you wait for a correction down, and then you dollar cost average in. You don't try to time the bottom perfectly, because when these things happen, yes, you can track it, but it never happens to the exact dollar amount that you want to do. So I typically have zones that I like to dollar cost average in, one being the 0.5, another being the 0.618, and then you just take a position in something like Netflix. On the smaller time frame, you can see it a little bit more clear, right? So if you go to the smaller time frame, you can kind of see this A, B, and then C movement down, and it comes right down to the 0.5. I mean, look, it's literally tapped it to a T and then appreciate up. What I'm looking on Netflix is this does look like the start of the impulsive wave 1. We're in the 2, and we should get a 3, 4, 5. That for me is what's next on Netflix. I am looking to potentially enter a long trade here if we get a pullback to, let me move this out of the way. What I'm waiting for is to determine on, where's the daily candles? I'm waiting for a full pullback to about the 0.5 fib on here, and then looking to maybe enter a long trade, maybe even the 0.618, just depending on how deep this retrace goes. But you can see this was a wave 1, and then we have the A, B, and then C developing. If we get a retrace to around $87, I might look to take a long position and take a couple call options about a year out, and then ride this up for the next wave. So this being the wave 1, the wave 2 here, and then the wave 3 next, then you get a 4 and then a 5. That's what I'm looking to do next on Netflix. Link, yeah, we can look at Link. What up, brother? Hope all's well. War damn indeed. I wish we were in the tournament. I really do. It would have been nice to see the boys play again. But either way, the tournament so far has been pretty exciting. I mean, the first half of the Siena Duke game got a lot of people, but I knew long term Duke had better athletes. And from like Siena playing basically their starting five the entire game, they're just going to get gassed. So I knew long term that they would win the game, but it was a pretty shaky game. The High Point game was awesome. If y'all caught that game, that was a phenomenal game. I think the guy, I can't remember the guy's name. I think he was number 99, which was banging threes at the end, which was really cool to watch. But so far, the March Madness tournament's been pretty good. The only games that I've gotten wrong so far are Ohio State, which that was a terrible call. He should have waited till half court and then called a timeout. That was awful, just in my opinion. But Ohio State I've gotten wrong, and then I think I had Louisville losing as well. Let's see. Shopify. We could do Shopify. H-bar. Yeah, we could do H-bar. Can you check Pippin? Is Pippin a stock or a crypto? Did you just classify this as a 5-wave? If you're referring to Netflix, yeah. I mean, there is definitely a 5-wave move on Netflix. Let me get this in the screen here. So this is a 5-wave move on Netflix. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. And then you have this ABC corrective down. And of this entire move, we've already corrected down to the 0.5, and we look to be bouncing up for the next wave up. So this, for me, is the start of the wave 1. So essentially, you'll get something like this. Or wait, let me go to the weekly just so I can put more of this into the chart. The way that I'm looking at it for Netflix is this is the start of wave 1, and then we'll get a pullback 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. That's essentially what's next, but this is just the start of the mini impulse 1. Then you get a 2, then you get a 3, 4, 5. That's wave 1. Then you get an ABC, then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you get an ABC, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's essentially what's next for Netflix off of these positions. Obviously, we have to monitor this because we've only had a 0.5 correction. So this could be a bounce, but this is a pretty explosive move from 75 to 100. So for me, that looks impulsive. It's just a big, massive move, and then you get a pullback and then a wave 3. So for me, what I'm probably looking to do is look to long this in the 87 to 84 region and then take a position and, go for the upside target, because this was a pretty deep correction and it looks to have an ABC structure. We have this sort of A wave, then this A, B, C wave up, and then we have this really long, massive C wave. So for me, this looks like the first start of an impulse, then we get a wave 2, and then a wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. But I haven't taken a position in Netflix yet. If I'm looking to do anything, I'm waiting for this pullback to the 0.5 to the 0.618, and then I'll take a long position to the upside. Pippin crypto. Yeah, we can look at crypto or Pippin crypto. I think we did PLTR yesterday. We can look at PLTR again. I'm fine with looking at that. I mean, PLTR is in its ABC corrective movement. It looks to potentially be drawing support at the 0.382, but chances my $96 4.2 calls hit on Netflix. Was that 4.2? What's the date today? Today's what, the 19th? I mean, price is moving pretty rapidly down here in this. You can see it on the weekly, right? If you look at the weekly on Netflix, you can see this 3-wave structure developing, like this A wave, B wave, and then a C wave down. It really just depends on how long the C wave takes. Corrections typically take a lot longer. 4.2's what, a couple weeks away? I mean, it's possible you're just cutting it tight, in my opinion, because we got to wait for one. I mean, we could see a bounce here at the 0.382, right? This could be the ABC, and then we start the next impulse, which would be ideal for the 4.2 target. But for me and my strategy, I wait for the 0.5 to the 0.618. That's when I like to enter a trade. If I don't see that, like if price bounces at the 0.382 and just goes up, for me, that just doesn't fulfill my strategy. I like to wait for the 0.5 to 0.618 before I enter. So we'll see. I mean, it is, what, March 19th, so, I mean, it's possible, but but it is only a 96, so if we do get a drop down to 87 and then quickly start reversing to 94, I mean, it's possible, but that would just be more of my opinion than actual stuff. Holy LARP, thanks Leon, thank you, I appreciate that. Hey, Adri, how are you today? I'm good, Adri. How are you? Doing good, doing good. Bracket's not busted yet, so doing good so far. What time frame is this? These are right now. I have it on the daily time frame on Netflix. Thank you for the rose. Is that BitBop official? Thank you for the rose. You incorporate harmonics into your waves? I don't know what harmonics are, but no, I just use my own hand-drawn Elliott waves. Is what I do. Golden pocket, yep, that golden pocket right here, 0.5 to 0.618. That's typically where I like to have after a wave, especially more on the shorter term. Like on longer term, it's a different strategy because again, I'm looking more long term. Like if I'm looking to take a big position in Netflix and ride it out over the course of 1, 2, 3 years, it's very different. Where typically what I like to do on longer term trades is take a position at the 0.382, take a position at the 0.5, and then take a position at the 0.618. Kind of weight them accordingly. Like I'll take a small nibble at 0.382, and then what if price does something like this, where if Netflix was to come up, come down to the 0.382, kind of find support, and then it pump up. I'll take a small position at the 0.382, and if it doesn't come down to the 0.5, I'm in the trade, and then obviously it reverses the way that I want, and I can take, ride that position out. Then if I take a position at the 0.382 and it drops down to the 0.5, I buy a little bit more, and then I lower my cost average, and then if price, obviously reverses, I'm in the trade, and I have a good position. But if price declines to the 0.618, then I take another bigger position. Now I've lowered my cost average and bought it 3 specific periods of time. And now I'm loaded up for the long term, and then I wait for price to reverse to the upside, because timing bottoms isn't easy because obviously structurally wise, you can chart it out, but it's more about taking positions at good discounts and then waiting for the next wave up, because we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get an ABC down, and then you'll get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. The next target on Netflix, assuming that this is the bottom at the 0.5 fib here, my next target on Netflix after this 5-wave move would be, give me a second, and then let me move this out of the way so it's not all cluttered. My next target on Netflix would be 266, because this is the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3 targets the 1.618 at 266. That would be my next target on Netflix. Again, that's more of a long-term target. That's not a short-term thing. This is, 266 isn't going to happen in 3 months. It could take, this took from 2022 to 2025, so 3 years. This could be another 3 to 5 year window from, 91 to 266. But that's kind of the strategy that I have. Again, you have to have a strategy when investing, because if you don't, then you're going to lose every time. I feel like tech stocks are good buy right now. Any that you have your eye on? The ones that I have my eye on right now that I'm waiting for, honestly, just due to the risk to reward, is MSTR. And I know that's not a tech. I mean, I guess it's kind of tech stock, but Brian, hey Nick, how's it going? Do you care to take a look at BMNR? Yeah, we can look at BMNR. Actually, BMNR is kind of on my radar, so yeah, happy to take a look at it. But from a micro strategy standpoint, my next target on it, based on the wave count for MSTR being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with this ABC down. And on MSTR, you can see right here, we've already declined all the way down to like the 0.786, so a big discount. But my next target on MSTR is 961. So I'm looking to build a position here on one leg lower based on what I'm looking at on the chart. It does look like we have a little bit more downside to go on MSTR. The key level I was monitoring was this level right here, at 156. If price was to pump above 156, it would invalidate my basically my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. We got an extended a very choppy subwave 4, and then I'm waiting for one more leg lower. Again, following my Bitcoin thesis, because this thing kind of moves in it's very synonymous with Bitcoin, but I'm having one more leg lower, and then I'm going to build a position down here and then wait for 960. The risk to reward just looks really good on MSTR, so that's one position I'm looking at based on just the structure of it. This one, I know Sparks is going to like this one, but Hood is another really good position that's sitting right between the 0.5 and the 0.618. And I do have one more leg lower on Hood just based on the structure. I'm waiting for it to drop down to the 0.618 at $63. And then my next target on Robinhood is 300. So This is like the cleanest chart I've seen. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 wave up, and then you have this ABC corrective down. And for me, based on this choppy structure right here, it's a subwave 4, and we get one more dip. And then from a 63 to 300, I mean, that's almost a 5x. So risk to reward wise on Hood looks really good. MSTR looks really good. What was another one I was looking at? Trying to remember. Let me see. Is there anyone on my watch list that I was looking at? I mean, Hims kind of looks pretty. Hims actually looks pretty good as well. So Hims has a really good structure. We have an extended third wave on Hims, but let me clear up some of the stuff just so you can see kind of what I'm looking at. But Hims has a really good structure. You have the 1, the 2, then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extended third wave, followed by a 4 and a 5, and then this big ABC corrective move down. On Hims, I'm probably looking to take more of a short-term option trade on it, but my next target on Hims from a long-term standpoint is 127. So what's price now? 24. This to me looks like the start of an impulse wave off the lows. So right here we got this big, jump up. I'm waiting to see what price action does and to see kind of how this thing plays out. And it almost looks like we have a wave 1, wave 2, a big jump up for a 4, and then a 5. So if we get structurally something like this where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, I would wait for that 5th to complete. And then once that 5th is complete, say it pumps up to, I don't know, $30. My next trade, or my trade idea, would wait for the 0.5 to 0.618 retracement down to like $20 to $22. Take a, call option long, maybe a year out, and then ride it up for the next wave. So Hims is on my radar. Coinbase is also a really good one too. That was the one that I forgot about. Coinbase looks really good. So it almost has something similar to like Hims that we just looked at. We have this kind of impulse off the low. It almost looks like we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then if we get this final leg 5, I'll wait for an ABC pullback and then take a position. But structurally wise on Coinbase, we have a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 3, this ABC 4, and then a 5, and then this next ABC structure. My next target on Coinbase is $800 on Coinbase. So that's like a 4x from current prices, which looks pretty good. But those are some that, and then we've already retraced and kind of reclaimed the 0.618. So that's a good sign. But those are some of the things that I'm thinking about. Like Coinbase, Robinhood, MSTR, and Hims all look pretty good. Let me see here. Can you see Airweave? Yeah, we can look at Airweave. Use an Elliott Wave robot. Don't stress anymore and pass your account. No, because robot, no, I don't like AI. I'm not a big fan. If you guys like personality-wise, I don't like AI. I'm kind of against AI, to be honest. I don't really use AI. I know everyone says, well, if you're not using AI, you're falling behind the curve. Again, like, AI is not smarter than a human. You got to embrace your creativity. Fuck the AI. It gives you the same answers every damn time. And everyone just regurgitates the same slop. Everyone that's trying to create, and again, this is my opinion, but everyone that's trying to do these like AI TikTok things just for likes and validation, like, everyone's shit looks the same. Everyone says the same shit, does the same shit, posts the same content. Like, be original. Create some stuff on your own. Stop relying on AI just to make it may make your job easier, but I just feel like it comes with risks, and I don't really like it that much, if I'm being honest. Can you check Walmart? Yeah. What's your price target on Hims? My next target on Hims is 127. So I'll show you how I got it. So you take the trend-based fib extension here from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 5 to the bottom of this wave 2. So my next target's 127 on Hims. So that's what 24 5x, right, from current prices? And 24 times 5. No, wait, yeah. No. It's like a 4 point something x. Where's my price thing? Price range. Where's the current price? Here. Yeah, 427. It's like a 427% So that one looks pretty good. BMNR actually, surprisingly, I think when Ethereum starts outperforming, BMNR is another one on my radar too. I might take a position in BMNR as well, just because this thing looks like, I mean, when Ethereum outperforms, this thing's going to outperform as well. We had a really big impulsive wave off the low. Let me put this on the weekly just so I can get everything in the chart. We had a really big impulsive wave, you know, with the announcement of obviously the Ethereum treasury. I mean, you had this huge pulse up, and then you have this A wave, B wave, and then sort of this A, B, C wave down. My next target on it, this being the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3 comes next. My next target on it is 269 for BMNR. That's my next target on, for you, Brian, that's my next target on BMNR. Again, this is more, we've already retraced down way past the 0.786, so already at a pretty good discount. And based on the structure, it looks like we have this A wave, B wave, C wave, then an A, B, C for a B, and then almost this A wave, B wave, and then this A, B, C sort of wave. So it definitely looks like it's almost like a complex A, B, C structure, because you have this big A wave down, then you have this like almost A, B, C, D, E for a B, and then you have this A wave, B wave, maybe this is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we get one more dip lower. I do think because this follows Ethereum, I do have Ethereum retracing a little bit lower, kind of synonymous with Bitcoin. Healthcare, thank you for the join the fan club, Healthcare, what's going on? I do have, I mean, structurally wise, this just looks very similar to Bitcoin, Ethereum, MSTR, like it's this subwave choppy 4, and then we get one more dip. For me, I would wait for one more dip. If you're already in, just hold, you know, and then add to your position when it comes lower. But for me, I'll just wait because I have just some cash sitting on the sideline that I'm looking to deploy. And whenever this comes down, MSCR comes down, I'll take a position and then ride this up. You know, from current prices from 20, let me add this to my favorites just so it's there so I don't have to click it. From current prices right now to here, I mean, that's already at an 11x. So taking a position now is, once Ethereum starts outperforming, you know, this thing's going to fly. So that my next target on it's 269. And people may say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, when this thing is sitting at 269, it could potentially extend to 329 or 426, depending on how crazy this thing goes. When this thing's sitting at 269 and I told you to buy at 21, again, not financial advice, but it's a pretty good risk to reward opportunity right here. AI is globalizing human consciousness. Yeah, fuck AI, man. I'm not an AI guy. I hate that shit. I mean, it has its purpose, right? Like doing some Excel work and just doing some basic tasks. Yeah, 100%. But asking it for business, I mean, business advice and asking it to do everything that I want, that I just feel like we're not thinking. We're not thinking for ourselves anymore. We're just like, oh, how can AI help me and do it quicker? I'm just going to plug in what I want it to do and ChatGPT, tell me what to do. It's like, you got to critically think. You got to think yourself. You got to be willing to put yourself out there, fail, learn, grow. Like, just don't throw. I don't know. I'm just not a big AI guy. It's just, for me, that's just my personal viewpoint on AI. I'm just not really a fan. Coin is related to Bitcoin. It won't go up if Bitcoin is going lower. So yes, but if you know my Bitcoin thesis, Bitcoin, my next targets on it is 200K. That, don't think in a short-term mindset. This, you know, 800K is not something that's going to happen in 6 months. Like, you know, it's not, hey, oh my God, we're pumping, we're going to rip, you know, go straight to 200. It's going to take time, just like anything, right? It's going to take a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. With Bitcoin, for example, I do have one more leg lower to 50 to 60K, and then we pump to 200. And that's going to take, you know, that could take a year. That could take 2 years. However long it takes, it doesn't matter to me. The risk reward looks great. So I deploy capital, and then I'll hold and wait and be patient and just wait for my trade to, you know, execute. If it takes a year, great. If it takes 6 months, great. If it takes 2 years, whatever. You know, I'm deploying my capital and putting it to use. I think that might be more of a shorter term mindset. So what's the indicator with the number and ABC? This is all hand drawn. So all this stuff is hand drawn. I don't use any indicators. We are all going to be rich. Hell yeah. What's up, Matt? How are you? Solana. Yeah, we could do Solana. Cypherpunk. I've never heard of. Oh yeah, we're gonna do H bar. I gotta look at H bar. And then PLTR. Sorry, I gotta do HBAR, PLTR, then Solana. And then we do ICP honestly doesn't really look much. Where are the lines from? Those are all just my hand-drawn stuff. I mean, ICP, I'll just look at it quickly because from what I can tell on ICP, like look at ICP, right? There's nothing to go off of on this chart. We have no impulses, it's just straight down. So like this looks like an A wave, B wave, and a C wave. There's no impulses to use to gauge where this thing's going to go next until it shows us its hand. Until we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the bottom is you're probably going to get one more dip with Bitcoin because that's just what happens with altcoins. You get one more dip when Bitcoin dips. So until that happens, we probably have a little bit more downside, but there's no structure prior to that to give us some indication of where this thing is going to go next. So I do personally own ICP from like a while ago. I bought it back in like, I don't know, 2022. And then we had a nice pump up and then it just obviously dipped to where it is now. So again, I do own it, but from where we are right now, there's really no telling. Do you recommend DCA now to avoid getting sidelined in the case 60K was the bottom? That's a good question. I mean, structurally wise, again, with Bitcoin, like even with altcoins too, it just depends on your strategy. I'm already like, for me, it's a little bit different because I'm already in like from 2022 lows in altcoins too. Like I bought a lot of altcoins in 2022 based on their ABC structures. And obviously it's been more complex where some altcoins, had these big pump ups and then this big ABC down. And then we had this sort of small pump and then it dumped lower, which it's hard to predict that after you have an ABC wave and then you have this initial pump and then a dump. I wasn't foreseeing that. I mean, some had the big move up than this and they're kind of holding the structure a little bit better. And then we should see more moves. But I dollar cost average heavy in 2022 and 2023. I mean, sure, you could take a small position right now just based on structurally what's next. Because for me, the bottom is in soon for Bitcoin, and then we should see some bounces. So you could take a small nibble now at 70K and then wait for the 60 to 50K target and then just dollar cost heavy more. That could be a good strategy. It really just depends on what your time horizon is too. Like if you're looking to buy Bitcoin now and sell in 6 months, which I wouldn't personally do, just in my opinion, I think Bitcoin has a place in your portfolio for the really long term, like 5-10 years out. So yeah, if you're looking to hold Bitcoin for 10 years, these are great prices. But if you're like, hey, I want to hold for a year and have short-term thinking, then I personally would wait because there's a very big difference between investing in Bitcoin at 70K and investing in it at 55 or 50. I mean, that's a 15K difference. So that for me is sort of the advice that I would give you, again, just based on my opinion. I think the risk to reward probably is better if you wait and then ride it up. Now, if 87,100 gets taken out, then yeah, it invalidates my thesis. And then what will happen is we'll get a wave 1 up here and then a wave 2. So if you want to wait until that happens, that would be a better risk to reward because then structurally what's next because you have a wave 1. And then if it invalidates 87, you'll get a pullback 2, then just load up on the 2 and then wait for the pump up. So those are two different scenarios. Obviously, it all depends on your risk to reward, your risk tolerance, your time horizon. It depends on a multitude of different factors. If you're worried about missing Bitcoin and you want some other assets to put your money in, Robinhood looks really good right now. HIMS is showing some pretty good structure. Coinbase is showing some pretty good structure. MSTR, like there's so many other things that have bottomed as well, that are close to bottoming as well, that are good risk to rewards. But again, it all depends on your situation and your risk tolerance and a multitude of different factors. Based on where we are at on the long-term time horizon, Bitcoin is already retraced right now to we're sitting in between the 0.382 and the 0.5. So it's not a bad position. You could take a position here, wait for the 0.5 retrace at 60, take a position, wait for the 0.618 retrace at 50, take a position. If we get in between the 60 to 50K target that I'm talking about, just, dollar cost heavy there. That would be my, advice based on my opinion. At Cosmos, Adam. Yeah, we can look at Cosmos. Thanks for all the great work. I now have a plan based on your analysis. Could you look at Tau and BMNR? Many things. Yeah, we just did BMNR. I'll jump back to it just so you can see it. I mean, for me, it's at a deep discount. My next target on BMNR is 269. So it's about a 10, 11x from where we are right now. So a great risk to reward based on this massive impulse of wave and then wave 2. Another one I am looking at to add to my portfolio is BMNR. But I'm already pretty, like, my portfolio is already allocated pretty much, so I'm being strategic about where I'm placing my money right now. Like, if I miss the bottom, it's fine because I already have a lot of my portfolio is already loaded up, so I'm not necessarily worried about missing an asset just because I'm already allocated pretty heavy. This would just be more allocating like a few percent to my overall portfolio. And it's fine if I miss it. I'll just wait for this run to happen and then wait for the correction and then dollar cost average into the correction. So I know that that probably doesn't help for anyone else that missed, maybe the bottoms or, are FOMOing into the top and then are now underwater. But that's just for me what I'm personally doing. So I'm waiting for one more dip on BMNR, MSTR, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and most altcoins. Like when Bitcoin dips, MSTR is going to dip. When Ethereum dips, BMNR is going to dip. So me personally, I'm just waiting for one more dip and then I'll load up. Bitcoin needs one more bed crap first. Yeah, 100%. I do think that we are going to have one more lower leg on it. Another one, I don't know. I mean, I own a decent amount of it. We were going to do H-bar. I do own a lot of H-bar too. For me, H-bar looks pretty good, at these levels. I mean, it's a highly discounted level. Again, like most altcoins, when Bitcoin makes its final dump, most altcoins are also going to retrace too. You already see what happens when Bitcoin, the other day when, was it this morning or yesterday? Whenever Bitcoin dropped 4%, look what altcoins did. They dropped another 5 to 7%. So when Bitcoin dips, it also brings down the overall crypto market. I mean, there's outliers, right, that just pump, maybe some meme coins pump or whatever. But the mass majority of other altcoins will make a lower move. And then once Bitcoin kind of finds its footing in that 60 to 50K region, the next move is up. For me, that's personally what I'm waiting for is the 200K target. On H-bar, 65 cents is my next target for this being the wave 1, the 2, the 3, and then we'll get a 4 and a 5. 65 cents remains my target on H-bar, and I'm loaded up back here, the 2022, 2023, somewhere in this region, but 65 cents remains my next target for the wave 3. Again, we probably have one more dip on altcoins, just following Bitcoin. Rippler, what's good? How are you? Welcome to the stream, man. How are you? How low are you expecting Ethereum? My zones are like 1,700 to 1,400 for Ethereum. Where are all the haters that said bottom wasn't going to dip? They're loud and proud when price pumps, but they're nowhere to be seen when things actually go according to plan. It's very funny, Rippler. It's very funny. I always get, there are some people that come in here and, they'll say things in the chat all the time. They're like, you're an idiot, whatever. I'm like, all right, dude. Just tell me you don't have a plan without telling me you don't have a plan. Like, everyone that hates is just mad because they either lost money or followed someone on social media that, marketed them into buying the next 50x meme coin, and then they lost all their capital because they were gambling. So I appreciate the haters because when they comment on my posts and when they come into my TikTok live, it just boosts my algorithm and it just helps my my videos get pushed out to more people. So I don't mind them at all. Like, again, to me, it's kind of funny. I'm just like, look, man, or woman, whoever's commenting it. I'm like, look, you can say whatever you want, but don't get pissed at me when you miss out on the move. And I've told you the entire time, I got nothing to hide, man. Everything's documented on my page. Authenticity wins every single time. If you're being your authentic self, you can never lose. Exactly. Can't wait for the wave 5 dip to finish so we can finally, hopefully, alt rip. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I am waiting for that. Once we get the Bitcoin bottom and these things start outperforming, everyone's going to be loading up on... Yeah, they're all doing it right now. They're all loading up on gold and silver, and they're going to be caught bag holding that. Do you know anything about Algo? I know Algo has some good fundamentals. I mean, from the chart, it's kind of just waiting for its impulse off the low. We looked at it yesterday, but it's just waiting for an impulse off the low. Pick one, Scythe or Fart Coin. You were saying you're gonna. Someone was saying they were gonna make a donation in Fart Coin yesterday. So let's look at Fart Coin. What is it? Fart USD. Again, Elliott Wave Theory is not geared for, it's not geared for like highly speculative volatile meme coins, but we can take a look at it. Let's see. So, I mean, on the daily chart, I mean, it does follow the rules. And this is what I say. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at Cosmos too in a second. So, like, you can see on markets, like, there's always a pattern that happens. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. Like, these things happen repeatedly across all assets. Like, you do have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this big ABC corrective movement. But because this is like a newer coin, right? November of 2024, so it's only been around for a little bit. Yes, it's holding structure really well. You have this wave 1 with an ABC 2. This would be more of a highly speculative coin. So for me personally, like, take this with a grain of salt, because Elliott Wave Theory is not necessarily geared for like highly speculative and volatile meme coins. But, if you were using it again as a guide, the next target on Fartcoin would be $4 from the current price right now. It would be about $4 for the wave 3, meaning this would be the wave 1, then you have the ABC 2, and then the wave 3. I wouldn't risk more than like 1% of your overall portfolio for this, because again, it's highly volatile, highly speculative. This thing could go up, but if there's really not a lot, it's just a meme coin, right? It could also dump to zero. But, let's look at it for what it is. That's a 30x from current prices? I mean, a massive move. Is that a 30x? What is that? 3,000%? That's a 30x, I think, right? So, I mean, there is a potential that Fartcoin does go to $4. That would be the next target for a wave 3 at the 1.618. But take that with a grain of salt, because Elliott Wave Theory is not necessarily geared for highly speculative meme coins. Dang it, are you serious? I mean, the next target's to 30x from here. So, I mean, if you want to throw 1% of your overall portfolio at it just to have a little bit of fun and, potentially have a high risk, high reward trade, there's a 30x on the table with Fartcoin. Let's see. Solana. Yeah, we can look at Solana. We can do Bitcoin too. Solana. How do you place the fib indicator? Could you show that? Yeah. So it depends on which fib indicator you're using. So there's two different ones, and I'll show you which ones there are. So let me go to SPY, just because like this is kind of more what it's geared for. So let me move this out and then I'll show you. So SPY, again, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate on SPY, but it looks topped based on the structure. You can see really clean wave movements. We have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Now, the way that you use these Fibonacci tools in Elliott Wave Theory, you have two different tools at your disposal. You have the fib retracement tool, and then you have the trend-based fib extension. The way that you use both is very different. So for the fib retracement, you take it from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of the wave 1. So you just like drag it, and then you click it at the top of wave 1. You can see on this wave 2 right here, we retraced right to about the 0.382 and then, made our move upwards. So on the wave 3, typically let me tell you. So you use the trend-based fib extension to find out where the top would be for the wave 3. You take it from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1, and then you kind of, get this drag tool here, and then you drag it to the bottom of wave 2. Now you can see the typical top for the wave 3 is at the 1.618, or between the 1.618 and the 2. That's where wave 3 typically tops out. So you have the wave 1, the 2, and the 3. And you can see here, price topped between the 1.618 and 2, fulfilling the rules of Elliott Wave Theory. Now, there's also something with an alternative, it alternates with Elliott Wave Theory. So if the wave 2 is shallow, typically the wave 4 is deep. And you can see that on the chart, the wave 4 retraces a lot lower. You take this fib retracement to the bottom of wave 2, to the top of wave 3, and you can see that price retraced to the 0.618. We had a 0.382 retrace for the wave 2. We had a pump up between the 1.618 and 2 for the wave 3. And then we had a deep retrace kind of alternating, the wave 2 being a shallow one and a deep wave 4 down to the 0.618. And then how you get the top of wave 4 or wave 5 is you take the fib retracement tool, and instead of taking it from the bottom, you take it from the top of wave 3, and then you mark it down to the bottom of wave 4, and then wave 5 typically tops out at the 1.618 reverse fib extension of wave 4. So as we can see, wave 5 came up, kind of topped out at the 1.618. We're seeing a rejection now. Now my next target's on SPY. If price decides to form a, maybe a 1, or if we look at it on the lower time frame, this price action just looks very choppy, but it's almost like we have a 1, a 2. This could be the 3, the 4, and then we get one more pump up for the wave 5 for SPY, which I don't see it going higher than the 2. Maybe somewhere between 700 to 744 would be the absolute top. But given the rules of Elliott Wave Theory, this could actually be the top, and then we're starting the A wave, B wave, and C wave down. And the way that we're going to find the target for the next lower target is you take the fib extension from the bottom of wave 1, you take it to the top of wave 5, and these are the next zones that I'm paying attention to for SPY. Between the 0.382 to the 0.618, and that will be the bottoming zone for this ABC corrective down. And this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement of a larger wave 1. So we'll have the wave 1, the wave 2, and then we'll start the wave 3 next. The bottom zone should come between the 0.382 to the 0.618, which we just saw using the fib tool for this wave 2 and this wave 4. This one bottomed at the 0.382, this one bottomed at the 0.618. And that's where we should see a bottoming zone for SPY. Somewhere in this 564 to 481 region, we'll get a bottoming structure. We'll have an ABC down here, and then we'll resume the upside with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. That may be hard to hear because you're looking at SPY and saying, oh shit, like it's due for a potential correction from all-time high. If we go down to the 0.382, that's a 18 to 19% correction. The 0.5 is about a 25%, and then the 0.618 is a 30% correction. Who knows what that's going to top out as, but again, having a strategy is important. If you have a long-term time horizon, you can eliminate some of the shorter-term risk. So the strategy that I like to do is buy at levels. You buy a little bit at the 0.382. If price decides to reverse, again, following what we saw here on the wave 1 here, when we had the wave 1 and the wave 2, we retraced the 0.382. You could take a little bit of a nibble, and then guess what? You're in the trade, you ride it higher. If price was to come a little bit lower, you buy a little bit more, add to your position, then the price goes higher. So the goal is to not necessarily time the bottom, but just add to your position. So when price hits 564, take a little bit of a position. If it reverses, you're in the trade, you don't FOMO. And then if price continues to decline to the 0.5, you take another position, you lowered your cost average. If price reverses, now you've added 2 positions, and then you're ready for the next move up. Then if price decides to go down to the 0.618 in a larger correction, you've taken a position here, taken a position here, take another position here, you've lowered your cost average, and then when price reverses, then you're in the trade and you have a big spot trade. So don't try to time it perfectly. Just add at these key levels between the 0.382 to the 0.618, and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, on SPY, the next target for it, based on this structure, hold on, I messed it up. Using the trend-based fib extension to here, to the top, assuming this is the top. If we retrace the 0.382, the next target on SPY is 1,100. You can't really see that. Let me mark it there. So on SPY, the next target after this decline here, if we were to move to the 0.382, the next target is 1,100 on SPY. If we were to decline to the 0.5, the next target on SPY is 1,000. If we were to decline to the 0.618, the next target on SPY is also 1,000. So it doesn't really move that much. Anywhere between 1,100 to basically 1,000 is the next target for SPY, given we decline to the 0.382 to the 0.618. And I just showed you guys how powerful that tool is for the wave 3, right? We just did that. When you look at this right here, where did price go for the wave 3? Well, it went between the 1.618 and the 2. So using that as our rule of thumb, this being a wave 1, a wave 2, and the wave 3 next, what target is next? Well, we use this tool. We go down to, wherever it was. I think it was like 500, somewhere around there. The next target is between 1,000 to 1,100, the 1.618 to the 2. So this is the wave 1, the wave 2 is down here, and then the wave 3 goes up here. And of this wave 3, you'll get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 wave move up to complete this, and then you'll get another ABC down. So that's how markets move. They just move in waves, and then you can use these tools as a guide to identify undervalued positions of when to buy and then targets of when to sell. Obviously, it's not perfect. It doesn't hit every price target to a T, but using this and structurally, you know what's next. We have an ABC, take a position, and then after that, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you take profits. So you don't have to time things perfectly to the exact dollar amount. You just have to position yourself well for the next trade. Let me see here. I missed all these comments. I love the essentials. Yeah, 100%. And everything moves in different waves. Like, you know, SPY has already completed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. And then if you look at Bitcoin, it's in a different structure. You look at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Well, Bitcoin's already done. This is essentially what's next for SPY. So Bitcoin, right, it's already had its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're in the ABC. That's what's next for SPY. So if we go back to SPY, SPY is just now completing its 5-wave move. What's next is an ABC down. That's what Bitcoin's already doing. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an ABC, and then what's next? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then using, again, what we were just covering on SPY, well, what's next? Well, you take the trend-based fib extension from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of the wave 5. I think we get one more leg lower to about 55. Well, what's next? Between 200 to 240. Between the 1.618 and the 2. You get the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3 is next. So again, you don't have to time these things to a perfect T. You just have to position yourself very well. And using Bitcoin too, we can actually look at where these things fell between. So with the wave 1, where did it fall between? Well, you had the wave 1, it fall to the 0.382, and then we pumped up. And then when we pumped up, where did we fall between the fib extensions? Well, Bitcoin actually extended further than we saw on SPY, right? SPY pumped for the wave 3 between the 1.618 and 2. SPY pumped to Bitcoin pumped to the 2.618. So you get these, you know, extensions, and then guess where SPY corrected on this next move? It corrected to the 0.5 fib. So that's what I talk about all the time, right? The 0.5 to the 0.32, 0.382 to the 0.618 are key zones you want to watch out for. What did SPY do? We came down to the 0.382, we popped, then we came down to the 0.5, and then we popped again. And then where did price retrace to for this wave 5? Well, we can see. Bottom of wave 3 to the top of wave 4. Well, you actually had an extension on wave 5 above the 1.618 and 2, barely, but you can see price got rejected up here and then came back into the zone, and then came down to the 1.618, tried to pop, and then we came down. So you see these zones, and this is just allows you to have good analysis of where you want to take profits. So as price is appreciating, you get the 1.618, you take a little bit of profit. If it pumps to the 2, you take a little bit of profit, and then boom, you know, you made money. So it's not going to be perfect, guys, and you're never going to be able to time the market with 100% certainty to the exact dollar amount. But if you know where the market wants to go using this strategy, you can position yourself well for the next move, and then, you know, make some money. Let me see. Solana, yeah, we can look at Solana. How did you draw the Elliott Wave and ABC? All hand drawn. So you just identify wave counts, right? You can see it on the chart. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and then you have this 3-wave corrective structure. It's all hand drawn. And the way that you do that is you identify, like, within a wave 1, you're going to have 5 smaller subwaves. So you'll have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. So that marks out a wave 1. Then you have an ABC2. And then on this, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 3. Then you have this complex 4. And then after that, obviously you get the wave 5. So once you identify 5 smaller subwaves, that is where you mark a wave 1, and then you wait for a 3-wave movement. And then that's where you mark the wave 2, and then you wait for another 5-wave movement to mark the wave 3, then wave 4, and then wave 5. And then on this, you can see all this structure on Bitcoin is why it's all corrective. It's all 3-wave movement. So you have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. Then you have this A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, B wave. Then you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down. that we're currently in. But it's all hand drawn. It takes practice. You're not going to master Elliott Wave Theory overnight. It's going to take time. I've been in basically, I went to school for finance. I graduated. Then I went to school to be a financial advisor. Then I started my own self-study outside of what I was already learning inside of my job. And then I started reading books. I started basically through trial and error, trying different strategies, learning different strategies, learning emotional discipline, learning mental discipline, looking at charts constantly. Just, this stuff doesn't take, a month to learn. You're going to have to put yourself through a learning curve, and you're going to have to really, look at charts constantly and constantly analyze and, find the wave movements. And then you're also going to have to predict things that happen, like kind of what I'm doing on Bitcoin, right? Like I've been documenting everything on Bitcoin since December and showing you guys kind of how the moves happen. But you got to kind of put yourself out there because you're predicting things that are going to happen in the future. And it's almost like a mental game for yourself, right? If you identify a wave 5 or a wave 1 movement, then you're going to have to predict the top for the wave 3 and see if price does what you think it's going to do. And if it does, then, obviously you get a confidence builder, and then you kind of stack onto it, and then you kind of just rinse and repeat and look at a lot of charts. So it just takes time. Let's see. What if we use that Elliott Wave on... so this is TradingView, so I am on TradingView. Sell gold, buy crypto. Yeah, gold. We looked at gold on stream yesterday. It completed a 5-wave move, so for me, gold's topped. You gonna look at Solana? Yeah, we can look at Solana. We looked at Solana yesterday, guys. Solana's next target is like 524, I think. Yeah, 522 is the net. And Solana, you can see it too on Solana. These are monthly. This is like a monthly time frame, but you can see it on Solana, right? You have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have this big A, B, C corrective move down. And then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up for Solana. And then you have this A, B, C corrective movement down that we're currently in. So this being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're in the A, B, C. And then we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that should happen off of these lows. My next target on Solana is 522. So for me, again, Solana should have one more retrace, just following Bitcoin and following the structure of what it looks like on the smaller time frame. And then we'll get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up to 522 as my next target. And then after Solana, we're going to go to Cosmos. Hold on one second. I don't know if... Is my YouTube chat coming in? Let me see. Let me make sure. Let's see here. Live chat. Okay, it is coming through. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, Solana, my next target is 522. What's the bottom number for Solana? Let's see. So this is kind of structurally what Solana looks like. It looks very similar to Bitcoin. So we have the A wave, the B wave, and for me, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5-wave move down. Of this 5-wave, we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we should get a 5 to the lower side. So on Solana, my next target on it is between basically 67 to 50. That's my next target on Solana in this zone. So we should get one more dip on Solana between 67 to 50, and then 524 is next, or 522, sorry. Is it important that we should see Elliott Wave just in a specific time frame? No, so Elliott Wave is on all time frames. You can use it, and you see it on weekly, daily, monthly, 3-month. It's fractal, so you can use it on any time frame. You can also use it on like hourly time frames, 4-hour. You see it on 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. You see it on all time frames. So you're uber bullish on crypto. I mean, my next target on Solana is, 524, which is a pretty good risk to reward right here. Bitcoin, 200. To me, crypto is just super undervalued right now in comparison to other assets. But I wouldn't, I don't pick a side. I don't have a lean one way or the other. I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. I just look at the charts and see what it tells me. Okay, does this chart look like it wants to move up or wants to move down? And then you draw out the structure using Elliott Wave Theory, and then identify a zone that you want to buy, and then wait for the next move up. So I don't really pick a side. I just let the charts tell me. 522, yeah, 522 is my next target at the 1.618. right here. It could go to the 2 as well, right? Like we saw some charts that I was showing you guys that have, you know, the wave 3 extending between the 1.618 and 2. So that would be between 632 and 522. So somewhere up here, it also could extend to the 2.618. We saw that on Bitcoin, right? When we had the wave 1, 2, and then the 3 extended. This, you know, could extend to 800. But even if you look at it on this time frame, I'll show you for example. Like back here in this zone right here, you had the wave 1, and then you had the wave 2. Look how extended this wave 3 got, right? It overshot the 2.618. I wouldn't be surprised if this went all the way up to the 4. It even shot over the 4. So you can get like super extensions on these wave 3s, and it just depends on structurally what the wave 3 looks like. You got to dial it down to this time frame. Okay, we had the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3. Oh wait, the wave 3, like if you look at Solana on this previous cycle, just so I can show you an example of like how it works. We had the 1 and then the 2, right? And then after we've had that, you can see, let me mark this out again. So you can see, right, on this chart right here, we had this wave 1 with a wave 2, and then the wave 3 pumped all the way up past the 2.618. Well, we've only had 3 waves, so we're going to get a wave 4 and a wave 5, which means there's bigger price action to come. So if you're looking at this chart and you know that the 1.618 is your target, you identify a 1 wave, a 2 wave, and then the wave 3 goes to the 2.618, you're like, oh shit, you know, this is going to have a wave 4 and a wave 5. So that's kind of how you look at the charts in general, and to identify when to take profits, you look at the smaller subwaves and then see where the price goes. But let's jump over to, is it Atom USD Cosmos? I think we looked at it the other day, and from what I could tell, we're just waiting for an impulse off the low. I mean, for me, Cosmosis does have a pretty big, you know, impulsive wave. We have this being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have this massive sort of ABC corrective structure, which is a huge decline. I mean, my next target on it is, again, the 1.618 at 71. So this being the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3 is next. That's my next target on Cosmosis. I don't really know much about the asset on like a fundamental standpoint, but $71 is my next target on that. Did you do PLTR? I got a phone call. No worries. Yeah, we can do PLTR. So you don't use the fair value gap? No, only Elliott Wave Theory. I'm familiar with fair value gaps, but I don't use it. Thanks, screenshot. Absolutely, Mike. Is that Mikey Mike? What's going on? We can do PLTR. Yeah. Can you tell me a few cryptos, altcoin to buy at this moment? For me personally, I'm looking to pick up VeChain and EOS. Those are the ones that I'm looking to pick up, VeChain and EOS. There is no indicators on Elliott Wave. It's all hand drawn. Where do you see XRP going? My next target on XRP is $6. ACOM or DraftKings? Yeah, we can look at DraftKings. Bottom price for Prov98. Thank you for the fan club. That's cool. I mean, bottom, again, we're probably going to have one more dip on Atom just with Bitcoin. I mean, we're already at a deep discount. We're already way past the 0.786. So this is a huge discount. But we're probably going to have one more dip lower. Again, with altcoins, because they're highly volatile and they can make swings of 20% up and 20% down, timing these things in exact bottoms, it's very hard to do. I go more off of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin pumps, you know, altcoins are going to pump. If Bitcoin dumps, they typically dump. So for me, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to dump to the 60 to 50K region, and then I'll look to deploy capital to altcoins. So I'm not trying to time, you know, their exact bottoms. If I buy on the Bitcoin dump and the altcoins make another 10%, you know, drop down, that's fine, because the risk to rewards are just really good. I'd rather take a risk of losing 10% with the potential chance of gaining, you know, a 500 to 600% gain. So I'm just waiting for Bitcoin. When Bitcoin makes its final leg down, that's when I'll look to you know, add to my spot position. So I hope that helps. I don't try to time altcoins just because it's so hard. So on PLTR, again, this is kind of structurally what it looks like on PLTR. I know this was asked in the beginning too. So actually, let me don't extend. I want to put this in the middle so you guys can see. So we already had a 5-wave move on PLTR, right? We had the 1 up here, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. We've already had a 5-wave move. Now, what's developing for PLTR is this could be the bottom of an ABC structure. We could be getting a top, but this also could be an A wave, B wave, and then we get a C wave down. That's why I always say take positions and buy positions at discounts at the 0.382 between the 0.382 and the 0.618. Now, if we look at the weekly time frame on PLTR, you can see what I mean. We had an ABC structure developing on PLTR. We had the A wave, the B wave, the C wave. We kind of chopped around at the 0.382 and then started this pump up. Now, again, my strategy, the way that I approach everything is you take a little bit of a nibble at the 0.382, take a little bit of nibble at the 0.5, and take a little bit of nibble at the 0.618 because complex corrections can develop, and that's what makes them very difficult to figure out where they're going to go next, because this could be the start of an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave of a larger wave A, and then you get an A wave, B wave, C wave of a larger wave B, and then you get an A wave, B wave, C wave of a larger wave C. So it could form into a complex correction, but as we can see on the chart, we have an A wave, B wave, C wave to the 0.382. Again, as I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, the way that I approach it is you take positions at certain levels, right? You take a position at the 0.382, then you're in the trade, so you're not FOMOing, right? You're in the trade, you're in at 129, now price pumped up to 164, you feel good about yourself. But if price was to reverse and go down to the 0.5, you're like, oh shit, you know. But then you take another position, and then if price reverses from the 0.5, then you're good to go. Then if price reverses to the 0.618, take another position, and then wait for the next move up. At these current levels for PLTR, I'll show you my next target on PLTR, assuming this is the bottom. We'll dive into it on the smaller time frame to see what structurally it looks like. But on PLTR, my next target on PLTR, assuming the 0.382 is the bottom, is 455. That's my next target on PLTR is 455. So the risk to reward right now from 200 to 455 is, you know, a 2x from current prices, which is pretty good, right? To 455. But on the off chance that this is a developing complex structure, we could also see some more downside. Now on the daily time frame, we can analyze it on the daily time frame and look to see what we have. So on the daily time frame so far, we have this A wave, B wave, C wave of an A, an A wave, B wave, C wave of a B. And then we have this structure, which looks to be almost like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So that would fulfill the rules of an ABC. You have the A wave, B wave, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. That's kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? That's what we're tracking, is we have the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be the bottom. And then what we have here is this the start of the first impulse of wave. We have the wave 1, the wave 2, we should get a 3, 4, 5. However, this could be a wave 1, this could be a B wave, and then we get a C wave, and then next thing you know, you get an A, B, C wave down. That's why I say it's very hard to time bottoms, even on Bitcoin. Like I'm talking about Bitcoin, and I'll show you for example. Structurally wise on Bitcoin, this is what it looks like, right? We have a massive A wave, B wave, C wave. And where does my target lie for the C wave? Well, it lies between 60 to 50K for structurally wise for it to be the bottom. We have an A, B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. On the larger time frame, if we zoom out here for a second, on the larger time frame, that also coincides with the 0.5 fib retracement and the 0.618 fib retracement at 60 to 50K. Now, for example, if Bitcoin decides to do this, right? We get one more dip lower, which we get to maybe 55, right? You take a position at the 0.5, and then if we dip to 50, you take a position at the 0.618. So you take a dip here, take a dip here. Then what's next? Well, we'll see what happens off of the bottom. If we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure like that, that'll mark the bottom. But if we get an ABC structure off of the bottom, we could be potentially having more downside. This could be the start of an A wave, B wave, C wave, and then you get another ABC, and then you get another ABC. So what do I always say? You buy at these zones. So we buy at the 0.5, we buy at the 0.618, great dollar cost averaging zones. And then if we get another ABC wave up and then an ABC wave down to the 0.786, you take another position there. So this could also morph into a more complex correction on Bitcoin. It's not off the table. You just have to play with the risk to reward. And risk to reward states that we have an A wave, B wave, C wave. It looks good. We should get a bounce. But it also could be an A, B, C of a larger wave A. Then you get an A, B, C of a larger wave B, and then another A, B, C of a larger wave C. Then you get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all just dependent on what happens off of these lows. Take a position here because the risk to reward suggests upside. But if we get an ABC off the low, that's not good because then we're going to get an ABC downwards. What we want to see off these lows is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move followed by an ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we want to see. What do you think is going to happen with SPY tomorrow? So I don't trade on like the daily time frame. All mine is, I'm a long-term investor. While I am looking to take some more, you know, I'm in a swing. I'm in a Bitcoin short right now on IBIT, but I don't really analyze it like daily. It's more of like a swing trade type thing. Gold, yeah, we could look at gold. Dr. Thunder, what's going on? Traveling and taking off, so I might lose you. CN, what's going on, Dr. Thunder? Man, what can I do so you read my comment? It's hard, Shu, man. The comments fly by so fast. What was your comment? VeChain? Oh, VeChain. We already did VeChain, but this is the one that I'm looking to add to my portfolio is VeChain. So VeChain structurally wise looks really good. I mean, we have a really good impulsive wave up for the wave 1 followed by this ABC. So we have the wave 1, ABC downward. Again, most altcoins are going to correct a little bit lower given that Bitcoin probably has another 10% decline. But my next target on VeChain is 43 cents. And we should get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up to 43 cents is my next target, which is a huge price appreciation from current levels. I mean, that's a 60x from current levels if I'm doing my math correctly. About a 60x. So for me, the risk to reward looks really good. I'm probably going to add about 1% about 1%, like 1% of my overall portfolio. I'm going to be allocating towards VeChain. If you had, you know, $100, $1 would go to VeChain. That's just the math with 1%. So I'll probably be allocating some money to VeChain. What time is it, by the way? 7:22. Oh shit! I'm only streaming till 7:30, guys, because I want to go watch the March Madness games that are kicking off here at 7:15. So I want to go watch those games, but I'll probably go till about 7:30. Sui looks really good. So Sui is also a very good one too. And when I'm investing, guys and gals, I shouldn't just say guys. There's probably gals in here too. When I'm investing in tokens or stocks, I want to invest in stuff that has really good structure. So that's what I look for when I'm investing in stuff and making sure that like I see clear wave movements. On Sui, it's really clean. Like you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 with this A wave, this A, B, C wave, and then this C wave down. So you have the 1, the A, B, C, 2. My next target on Sui is $8.70 is my next target. On Sui from these current levels. I might actually look to add a pretty big spot position on Sui. You need at least 1 million VeChain just in case. Yeah, I mean, VeChain from a fundamental standpoint, I mean, they got partnerships with, UFC, Dana White's kind of involved in them. So fundamentally wise, they're doing pretty good in the supply chain stuff. I think they're doing a lot of stuff in China with supply chain, amongst other things. But fundamentally wise, it looks really good. And from a Elliott Wave structure standpoint, it looks good. Sui looks very good too. I mean, you have a clear 5-wave structure with this ABC. Next target for Sui again is 870 at the 1.618. It also could extend to 10 or even 13 at the 2.618. It just depends on what we get off these lows. If we get a massive wave 1 with a 2 and then a massive wave 3 like that, it's not in the chart for you. If we get something like that, then we know what's next is a wave 4, wave 5. So we'll just let price action come to us. Sui is something I probably am looking to add. Tau looks... we were looking at Tau as well. What is it? The USDT one, I think, on Mexi. Yeah. So we looked at Tau. And for me, Tau, the next price target's 1,300 on Tau. This being the wave 1, and then we're in the wave 2, and then the wave 3. We did get a nice bounce off these lows, which for me probably is the start of the impulsive wave up. On Tau, because structurally wise, it does look like it's developing a 5-wave structure off the low. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we should get one more wave up, and then we'll get an ABC corrective down. I would say if you're looking to add Tau, just wait for this 5-wave move to complete and then add on the decline. So this being the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then say the 5 pumps up to like 323. Again, guys and gals, what do I say all the time? Wait for the pullback, and you'll get something like this. You'll get an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And the key levels that I would be monitoring once this 5-wave move completes is between the 0.382 and the 0.618. What's the strategy? Again, everyone already knows. Buy a little bit at the 0.32, buy a little bit at the 0.5, buy a little bit at the 0.68. That is having a dollar cost average strategy, so you don't FOMO in. But I would wait for a 5-wave to complete, and then you'll get an ABC down, and then you'll get the next move up. So that, for me personally, is what I would do if I'm looking to take a position on Tau. It looks like structurally we have bottomed here just based on this impulse off the low, which is a great sign to see for Tau, but 1300 is my next target on Tau. I don't know too much about it fundamentally, but structurally it looks good. OP. Was that optimism? Is it OP USD? I don't remember if we looked at OP. Yeah, OP has nothing. There's no structure to it. It's just up, down. So until you get some impulses off the low, there's nothing to do with optimism. So that you're just waiting for impulses off the low. Chainlink, my next target on Chainlink's between 90 and 110. That's my next target on Chainlink. So this is the massive wave 1. Oh. The wave 1, the 2, and then we're in the 3. But between $90 to $100 is my next target. Bitcoin at contract address. Don't click that, guys. Don't send money to that contract address. I don't know what that is. Does your strategy going to be work with SMC and ICT or two separate? Two separate. So I am familiar with the smart money concepts and ICT. I don't personally use those, so I'm not entirely sure how that works into Elliott Wave Theory, but I've found that those are less reliable for me and just a lot more complex. You gotta, pay attention to the chart way more. And I know that's more like, more of I don't know. I've seen so many people using it for day trading, but I personally just like Elliott Wave Theory better. It's just simpler. Ethereum, I do have one more leg lower on that web. 7,500 is my next target on Ethereum, but I do have a little bit more of a decline on Ethereum. Gus, awesome, absolutely, Gus. I'm assuming Gus UK. You're based out of the UK. What time is it there? Is it like 1 a.m. in the morning or something? I don't know if you are based out of the UK, but if you are, welcome from the UK. I don't know if Gaming Assault's in here, but he's from Dubai. He comes in every now and then. All right, let's do Airweave as the last token, and then I'm going to go watch some March Madness games because they're about to start up here at 7, and I'm going to cook some dinner. So I'm going to watch dinner, or cook dinner, and then watch some March Madness games. What is... Oh, yeah, that was from last stream. I forgot about that. We did it on Airweave token. Yeah, I mean, on Airweave, the only... technically speaking, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have this massive ABC structure. So, I mean, Airweave next target on it would be somewhere around 147 on Airweave would be my next target. So you have this being the wave 1, the ABC2, and then the wave 3 towards 147. ACOM? Okay, we can do ACOM. All right, ACOM's going to be the last one. We're going to do ACOM, and then we're going to... Hairweave. We're going to do ACOM as the last one, and then I'll be live tomorrow, and we can focus on whatever I missed. But is it ACOM? Did we do ACOM or no? I don't know if we did ACOM. Oh, wow, this is an interesting structure. Okay, well, all this is corrective, so this is just out of the window. Then you have this big up and then down. So where we want to start is this level right here. This low right here, because all of this is chopped. There's no impulse. Then you finally get a pump off the bottom, but then you retrace lower than this starting point. So the place we want to start is here. So let's dive into that and see what we can find. So let's just zoom into this area right here. So this I mean, you definitely have a pump up 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4 and a 5. But then all of this structure is just choppy. You have no impulses here. You like, this is, you could be like, oh, this is an impulse 1 with a 2 and then a 3 and a 4, but then price retraces lower than the starting point of wave 1. Then you have an impulse here, but then it retraces, you know, this would be the 1, 2, and the 3, but then to be honest, I don't even know where this thing's going. This chart just looks weird. It just looks like one big banana. Just one big curved banana. Like there's really no strong impulses. Price almost just looks like a slow, choppy movement up. I personally would avoid this. I don't know what fundamentally goes on behind this company. I don't know what they do. I have no idea. But from a structure standpoint, there's really no clean structure. There's nothing on it that I can really look at that would give me clear indication and confidence of, okay, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like Hood, Sparsh has a really clean chart structure, which is nice. Okay, Bitcoin, and then we'll finally go trade the banana. I'm gonna short the fuck out of that banana if I was gonna do anything. One last, it's going up. I mean, it could be. I don't know too much about it, but structurally wise, it doesn't look clean, so I just wouldn't put my money there. That's just, again, that's me personally. From a fundamental standpoint, it could have some stuff going for it, and you could, you know, invest based on the fundamentals, which also is another strategy. But based on my strategy, it just doesn't fit within my strategy, so I just look for other assets. You don't have to buy everything too. I can't, like, one of the things that I like to talk about too is you don't have to buy every asset. Like, if you want to do that, just buy the S&P index. Like, that's the point of it, right? It combines 500 companies into one, so you don't have to worry about, you know, buying Apple and buying Google and buying this. Just buy the SPX and you'll be fine. Okay, then close with Hood. I'm going to close with Bitcoin, and then we're going to end the stream, and then I'll be on tomorrow because I want to go watch the March Madness games. It's calling my name. No changes to the structure of Bitcoin. You know, we have this wave 1 here, the wave 2. I don't know why this was removed. The wave 4, and then we're waiting for the wave 5. Change the color of that to that, and then change it to, I like the sub-minute one because it looks really good. But structurally, that's what we have on Bitcoin, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and waiting for the 5. Of the 5, we're just waiting for the drop down towards the 60 to 50K region between the 1 and the 1.618. Typically price targets the 1.618 on the wave 5, which is what we saw, you know, on multiple charts. So 50K, right around 50K is my next target. But we should get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down on Bitcoin. With that being said, though, I'm going to go cook some dinner. And I am going to go watch some March Madness games. And hopefully my bracket is not blown up. I know Duke was giving me a scare. I've been asking for Parcel for like an hour, bro. And I just followed you. I mean, all right. We'll look at Parcel and then we'll end. It's tough, man. There's so many charts in here. You guys got to be patient. There's so many charts in here. And again, I don't work for you guys. Like, I'm not, you know, I don't work for you guys. You can spam charts, obviously. I'm happy to look at them, but I'm not your, you know, charting robot. You know, I will look at it, but you gotta have patience. Is Parcel a crypto? Let's see. Yeah, there's not. Let me see if there's another chart that has some different price action on it. No. No. Coinbase, no. Maybe USDT has some different charts on it. Mexi, no. Yeah, I mean, Parcel doesn't really have much going for it to be from a structure standpoint. I don't know about it fundamentally, but we have an A, B, C structure down. Until we get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement off of these lows, there's really no telling where it's going to go. It probably follows Bitcoin having one more leg lower, and then we'll get some impulses off the lows. But until we get a structure like that, it's kind of like Optimism and the other ones. It just looks like a straight, you know, just absolute can sesh, and then we should get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move off the bottom. But I don't really know about this chart. I mean, the token's only, what, a year or two old. I tend to kind of stay away from newer tokens because you don't really know what's going to happen with price action, but there's really no structure to go off of with this one. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But structurally wise, once we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move off the lows, then we'll know what to do with it. Like you'll see a smaller structure like this develop, then you'll get an ABC, and then you'll see a smaller structure like this, then an ABC, and then a smaller structure like this. So until we get these developments off of these lows, there's really no telling where it's going to go next. But with that being said, we'll close out with Parcel. Thank you so much for your efforts and time. Absolutely, absolutely happy to help. But I just want you guys to know that, I really do appreciate all the support, obviously coming into the lives and everything. It's a lot of fun. Like, I enjoy it. This is like what I love. I love charting and love making money. And then also by default, helping you guys make money too and make smart investment decisions, because I feel like there's so many people on social media that glorify investing and day trading and swing trading as like gambling. And you see it all the time, right? You see like all these like high intensity people screaming, oh my God, I'm up 500%. Again, investing's not gambling, guys. You got to get that out of your mindset and eliminate the emotions. I know it's hard and it might sound boring. I try to make investing as fun as possible, but you got to stay level-headed with this stuff, because you're not at the casino. You're not throwing money on the, the roulette table and, hoping for black or red. You're putting your money to work and you want it to appreciate. So you want to make smart investment decisions. If people are trying to sell you things of get rich quick, this is the next 50x coin, this is this, whatever. Typically those are scams. So I would avoid those. I've bought into that in the past, and that was a mindset shift for me. I had to move away from that and try and get that off of my timeline, because there's so much, people just glorifying themselves on, all this marketing crap. It's a big scam. I mean, we're seeing it across now. Authenticity is always going to win. You guys are still in crypto. Your country's economy is falling. I mean, SPY is at a topping point, but crypto is undervalued. Adrian, thank you, Nick, for absolutely. What's up, Raj? We are going up from here. Unfortunately, I hate being the bearer of bad news. You're going to love me when the price is pumping, but you're probably going to hate me right now because I'm saying that price is going to continue downwards to the 60 to 50K region. I'll take the hate because eventually we're going to start, pumping up and we're going to get to 200K. But unfortunately, we do have one more leg lower to the 60, 50K region. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what's next. Nothing wrong with our country. I love the USA. Yeah, 100%. I mean, SPY, if you look at like SPY as like the country, I mean, yeah, we're topping, but it's going to go up. I mean, we're doing great things, man. We're doing great things. We continue to advance every single year, and we continue to, make progress. And that's just the nature of things. What's the word on Bitcoin? What's up, Matt? I'm actually about to end the stream now because I want to go watch these March Madness games and eat dinner, but no changes on Bitcoin, 60 to 50K. We look to be starting an impulse to the lower side, and eventually we'll know once price action comes out, but 60 to 50K remains the region. What's up, Gons? Thank you for the support, Gons. I always appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I know you don't do timeframes, but do you think Bitcoin will hit 200K within the next year or two? That's fine. I'll start the stream over. We're not leaving. We're staying here till 9 p.m. I mean, crypto is very undervalued in comparison to like SPY, NASDAQ, gold, silver. Like all these things have pumped really quickly. And I think most of the people are going to flood into crypto, and crypto pumps very fast. Like we've seen it can move very quickly. But to put a time frame on it, it's very hard. Once we bottom and we start seeing some price action off the low, we'll be able to determine how quickly this thing could potentially move. But I always give myself, when I'm investing, a 1 to 5 year time horizon. And then once that, happens, right, when you see these impulses off the low, we'll know better. But I always give myself a 1 to 5 year time horizon because it could happen very quickly, but it could also, extend and drag out. So it really just depends. Nothing with Epstein protector country. The only thing I believe in is Jesus Christ. That's it. I don't believe in no countries. I follow God. That's it. I follow no one else. I don't follow man because man is fickle. Or is it fickle? I don't know. I follow Jesus. That's it. Amen. Yes, sir. We going to 60K? Yeah, 60 to 50K remains my targets. From where we are starting swing trades, from when are we starting swing trades? Let us make some money with you. It's going to take me some time because swing trading is not necessarily like what I've done in the past. I've done more long-term investing, which has obviously proved very well. I made some significant profits. So I'm working out the kinks, kind of trialing out some things. I am in a Bitcoin short right now. I entered in around 75K on an IBIT short, and I'm riding that lower. But I'm trying out a bunch of things. I'll document. HIMS is another one I'm looking to get into. You guys saw the Netflix when it gets a dip, but I'll let you guys know when I enter these swing trades, when I enter them. But I'm just waiting for price action to come to my levels first. Then I'll enter, and then, when they make the moves up, I'll let you guys know. But that'll all be documented. So don't fear. I'll let you guys know when I enter a swing trade. God, crypto country in that order. As long as God is God is at the top, then I'm fine with that for sure. But yes, crypto is up there too because I want to make some money. My thing is God, my wife, family, and then everything else. That's my morals and values. But with that being said, I'm gonna go make some dinner. I'm going to watch these March Madness games, and then don't worry. I'll let you know when I enter the swing trades. I'll post a video on it and say, hey, I've entered the swing trade if you guys want to get in. Obviously not financial advice, but feel free to follow me. But those will be, some call options or some short, some put options, mostly call options. But if I identify a short, I'll take it. But that'll all be documented. So don't fear. Amen. 100%. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow. Again, same time, 6 p.m. to 6:30. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And hopefully our brackets don't get busted between now and then. Or no, I won't see you guys tomorrow. Shit, I should have said that on TikTok. I'll see you guys Sunday.